Hello, everybody. Let me turn this music off for you and get started on here. So welcome to the morning live stream. I was literally got about 3 hours of sleep, and I want to just cover the new news that came out this morning. And as expected, Kari Lake has tightened the gap, and she's going to end up winning this election. All right, Kari Lake, we said that last night. Based on the math, I'm going to play some clips from Charlie Kirk's show from last night. They went for about 10 hours. I went for about 6.5, and then I did 2 more live streams on Rumble and Facebook, and now I'm doing one on YouTube. So the purpose of this video is to get people off the ledge, relax. Is it a red wave? No, absolutely not a red wave. In fact, unfortunately, it's not. And there are reasons for that. We'll get into that at the very end. I'm going to share you a clip with Jack Prosibiec at the end, and then we're going to show you all the good stuff leading up to that. Now, there is a lot of good things about this election. It isn't the enormous thing we expected because our expectations were higher and because the reason Jack Prosibiec said at the end. But I'm going to jump in here and just show you real quickly this particular article that I was pointing to yesterday. And it is on the, if I can pull it up here. Maybe I can't. Hey, well, let's go and try this clip first, and then we'll do that, and then we'll get to the other thing second. So this is this guy's name is Andrew, and he was on the call last night. Check this out.
Andrew, final thoughts?
All right. New numbers out of Nevada. Laxalt 49.9 to Cortez Masto 47.2.
What?
Yeah, we've got
Laxalt's gonna win, baby.
Up 3 points.
Laxalt's up. Hold on, before we count our chickens here. Laxalt is up. It looks like 23,000 ballots.
That's a lot.
But 84.3% reporting in Clark.
Okay, so he's gonna win by like.
But here's what else is crazy though. It's only 63.6% reporting.
We get some back. Let me turn this volume down here on this laptop here. I think you're hearing some feedback. Sorry about that. All right, let's keep going.
In Washoe, and he's now winning in Washoe 50.6 to 46.9. That number is
all right. So what he's saying simply is he's talking about Nevada, okay? And we're talking. You came here for the brass tacks, okay? We're going to win the House. We're going to win the Senate. That's what's going on. In fact, there's an article here. I'm going to try and pull it up now for once. I'm just going to try and present this and share my screen and pull up this guy right here. And this is from something I tweeted yesterday, or Retruth. Basically, this guy here is the wave on the left and the ripple on the right. We're at the right. That's where we are. It's a good article here, and it talks a little bit about why that is. And I think Jack Prosibiec hit the nail on the head. So this was not, unfortunately, unexpected, but none of the scenarios came out with the Democrats winning the House. The Senate, of course, they always had a chance of that because back in August, we didn't think there was even a chance of them coming close to the Senate. So we're basically where we wanted to be, but because we're high profile stuff with Oz and Kari Lake and being whatever it is, expectations were higher than we thought, and this is where we are. So, but there are other solid reasons why this couldn't have been bigger, and it's something we can definitely control next time. Anyway, here we go. Let me go back to this guy here and continue. 2 mice here.
It's going to get bigger. Vegas is going to dump again, but that number again is going to be day of. He's going to close the gap in Clark. Adam Laxalt, I think he's your next senator out of the state of Nevada. And here's further proof. Joe Lombardo is, let's go back to the governors here. Joe Lombardo has extended his lead. He's at 50.6.
He's up 5.
To Sisolak's 45.8. Joe Lombardo is running away with this thing. He's got a over 50,000 point. No. He's got a 40,000 ballot lead in Nevada. 40,000 ballot. He ain't coming back. That's not too early to call.
That's great.
Joe Lombardo's your next governor.
That's
a
deal.
huge deal because Joe Lombardo's got a lot of reform that he's planning on doing.
Is awful.
So I just say what we're seeing here is the West is realigning. Okay, we're seeing outside from New Mexico, Arizona is going red. Like I said, Kerry Lake's going to win there, and Blake Masters is going to win there as well. And you'll see why in a second here. Nevada governor and senator in Nevada, and what we need are governors like DeSantis to be the guy he is, to do what he did, because the first thing DeSantis did was lock down the election laws, put a task force in place, an agency statewide to go after criminals who tried to do the bad thing on election day. When you do that, then you have other things. And plus, governors are very important, as we found out what happened these past 2 years, that the governor of your state has a key impact in your life. So that's what they're saying here. I'm keep going.
Okay, here's my final thoughts. My final thoughts are the West will rise again.
That's it, baby.
We were the firewall for freedom.
That's right.
I mean, I feel, listen, early morning ballot dumps, all this black pill stuff could happen. Okay, it really could. It could.
Yes, but we got eyeballs on it.
We got eyeballs.
Watchers.
Okay.
We got people. We're not going to sleep. We got people all over Arizona.
Right. I just want to hedge because we've seen this. We've seen this movie before. But here, assuming the numbers hold out, which it looks like they will, we're gonna have 51 in the Senate, and we're gonna have probably about a 220 in the House, 220, maybe 224. We've got power back in the House and the Senate. It's a real possibility. You do the runoff in Georgia without a libertarian. There's a real chance that Herschel takes it. What's that?
So on predicted, which party will control the Senate? It had been Democrat all night, and suddenly, it's just about a couple hours ago that started to dip down.
Tipping. Yeah, take a screen.
The voting numbers right now, the gambling numbers are pro-Republican. So if you think the Democrats are going to take this, put your money on it and see what happens. No, I was watching this all night, and Charlie Kirk is a genius. I'm watching him do math in his head against the guy on his left here, who's the expert in Nevada politics. He's an expert. He was doom and gloom in the beginning, and Charlie's like, look, dude, I know you're on the campaign. I know you're looking at these numbers, but you're wrong. There's this number of mini ballots outstanding, anywhere from 700,000 to 1 million. And with that, with Kerry picking up these peripheral states the way she was doing, like in the primary, she's going to win by 100,000 votes. So it's a wrap, whatever. And then finally he came around and said, oh yeah, you're right. He's going to win. She is going to win. And that being the case, Blake Masters is going to win as well, because he's running within 3 points of Kerry Lake, which means they're voting together. And so even though he was down at the time, 248,000 votes, I'm not sure what that raise is now this morning, but it's closer. And Kerry Lake is basically tied when she was down 166,000 votes only 3 hours ago. So look, guys, I'm telling you right now, this is what we wanted, but it could have been so much better had the Republicans been a little smarter. And of course, the narrative's going to be out there. So just if your friends say, ha, 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 whatever, tell them, okay, yeah, all right, you guys did all right. But this was not a blue wave. So shut up about that. Not even close. So let's keep going. And then I'll finish up with Jack Percy back in the next few minutes here. We'll end this up in about 5 or 6 minutes. Well, maybe longer.
And then the R line, which is all the way down to 20%, started just in the last hour. Started to tick up. It is currently at 25 cents.
Yeah, well, it's about to change.
Yeah. So looking. I mean, if you guys are the betting kind, I don't even care. I'm not Charlie. If you feel so inclined, probably looking like a smart bet. The West will rise again.
Our boy Tyler is putting more money out. Yeah, that's what he just told me.
All right, the guy who won $1,000.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm looking at 51 as the most likely scenario. 52 after the runoff. We'll see.
Tyler, final thoughts.
So basically, what it is, if Laxalt holds and Blake Masters holds, we don't even need Georgia. Georgia would be the icing on the cake. That's what he's saying. Or Georgia without the Libertarian candidate, I think he got 8,000 votes, like 2% of the vote. That puts Herschel Walker over the top easily, and the game is over. The Libertarian candidate again screwed us. And I'm sorry, you Libertarians out there. I know it's cool, whatever. Just don't I mean, this is what happens when that happens, which is fine. Holds people accountable, I guess. But without the Libertarian candidate, Herschel Walker wins by a point. And that's all you need in Georgia is 50% plus one vote to avoid the runoff. So in the runoff, without the Libertarian candidate, Herschel Walker's your winner. As long as we stay energized and show up again in the same force we do today, which will be challenging because all the hype. But that's to be the biggest thing. But again, Georgia is the icing on the cake. If sounds like Nevada and Arizona is going to go that way anyway. So there's your Senate, and the House is already there.
Blake Masters is your senator. Carrie Lake is your governor. Adam Laxalt's your senator.
Well, we don't know if Blake is the senator yet, but yeah.
Blake is going to be your senator.
Okay, that's his final thought.
No, Blake is going to be your senator. And here's how I know this, because tomorrow, I mean, look, I just got Garrett Archer just texted me back. He's like, yeah, I think the New York Times literally pulled Garrett's number, the 900K.
They're all like quoting each other.
And I said, where did you get that number from? He said, it's mine. I just made an estimate. I said, New York Times pulled it for me. I said,
yeah, he's watching this. He's just watching us.
I said, seems high. And he said, if it's high that we don't have record turnout, it could be. And I said, yeah, I don't think we will. So I think we're going to end up probably somewhere
650 to 900 is the range.
Yeah, like 650, 700-ish. And
that's going to be razor thin for
Blake by 15,000.
I think Blake's going to sneak it out. And I think he's going to sneak it out, and it's going to be captivate the national audience. And we're going to talk about this forever. And Blake's going to win his next race 6 years from now.
By like 6. You understand 80? How much they're going to hate us if Blake wins the Senate race by 11,000 votes?
No, but if Blake wins, Kirsten Sinema is going to be on the freaking. Gosh. No, I'm telling you right now, on the hot seat. You want to talk about hot seats? Well, literally, the entire
Sheriff Lamb against her too.
The entire Democrat Party is going to be in absolute flames, and we're going to be running Mark Lamb, Sheriff Lamb against Kirsten Sinema, and it's going to be epic.
Fully supported. Okay, closing thoughts. As always, you can email me freedom@charliekirk.
All right, so I'm gonna try to talk here a little bit more, and I'm gonna pause it because I'm not sure what you're saying. I haven't watched this, but this is a 10-hour stream, so this was probably wrapped up somewhere around 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is only 3 hours old. Okay. And I looked at the numbers today. Carrie Lake. Let's pull Carrie Lake up here right quickly. Let me do that. I got this here. Let me share this at the stream, and I'm going to change my browser. I'm getting good at this actually. Change my thumbnail. Bam. There we go. All right, here we go. Governor races. And so let's come on down to Carrie Lake in Arizona. Right now you see she's down literally 30,000 votes, and with 63% voting. And what you're saying is that there's 700,000 votes outstanding. And with that being the day of election, then that's going to be a Carrie Lake victory by 150,000, 120,000 votes. A clear, easy, not easy, but a dominant performance in that particular race. Now, Blake Masters, again, he's a little further ahead. Let's take a look at him real quickly, just to keep it fair. I haven't checked his numbers out. Let's go over to the Senate, and let's come over to Arizona, see where we are. Okay, so he's down 100,000 roughly, with still 63%. Now, with him running, this is the numbers that they're running. This is numbers they're running with. This is modeling. This is politics wonkiness. That seems like a lot, but 63% is. There's a lot out there. If there's 700,000 votes out there still, and you're still running 3% from Carrie Lake, you can with math project that out, and he wins by about 10,000 votes. All right, that's basically the numbers. And even without that, you have Georgia, where you have without a libertarian in that runoff, you have Herschel Walker winning that as well. So again, you still got to vote, you still got to turn out, but it's not the doom and gloom scenario that people think. Winning one of the branches winning one of the chambers was what we wanted, and we did that. So, but we expected more. And I'm gonna go back to Jack Brasibiak here at the end. Here, he's queued up at 11 minutes and 10 seconds. His is a little more doom and gloom, only because of what it could have been. So let me see if I can go back to see him. Come back here and play this. Let me go back here, switch this over. All right, and we go back to Jack. About right, is it 11:10? Kind of hard to see on the screen. Let's go here. Nope, not there yet. Let's play this. Why can't I hear anything? Oh, here we go.
1920 AM fast. Will be there. Benny Johnson will be there. Candace to sleep. I mean, I've been doing that.
We were right yesterday, Charlie, when we went through this question of a stealth Dobbs vote, these stealth operations, the TikToks, the student loan.
All right, let me stop here to fill you in. What he means by the stealth Dobbs vote, what that means is that is the Roe versus Wade decision, Dobbs versus Jackson, where Roe v. Wade was turned down, and which, by the way, I am happy about that. If Roe v. Wade gets turned down and we lose the House and the Senate, I think babies' lives matter. That's, to me, that is a worthwhile arrow to take. However, with that, the Democrats were able to mobilize using TikTok and galvanize Generation Z, the young people who don't have jobs yet, the people who don't know anything about immigration, nationalization, they don't know anything about that, they don't know anything about important issues that we care about, like crime and that kind of thing. They live at home with their mother and their parents. But they were able to mobilize on that single issue, and we had no response to that. And that's the stealth Dobbs vote. And it means TikTok, meaning they mobilized in social media and pumping it out there, extending the voting window so that these people who are typically slackers would give a month to vote. Oh yeah, sure, I can fit it in, and they vote. That's what he's talking about.
Forgiveness program, buying off votes. Look, Gen Z came out, and we need to crack that open. We need to examine that. We need to understand it. And by the way, Republicans, and I'm going to say this right now, if we are not going to be able to fix these states and end this new tradition, right, this new normal of election week and election weeks and election months, then we're going to have to figure out an actual strategy forward. And then third, we need a message on abortion. We need a national message on abortion, period.
Andrew, final thoughts?
All right. New number.
So we already saw that. Let me see if I can find Charlie Kirk's last statement here and see what we have just to close this out. And that's it. There's nothing more. Let me see.
We're going to take the Senate, and if we take Blake Masters in Arizona and with Carrie Lake, that is a steal of the Democrats. That will ruin their entire night. Like Mark Kelly was a chosen one. He was supposed to be the guy, and it shows candidate quality. Blake Masters ran a great race in more ways than one. And then we're going to a runoff. We're going to a runoff in Georgia in a very, very big way. And so, is pretty amazing. So
Blake's our homeboy.
Yeah, Blake is the man. So
He's
can we get that up, guys? Is that possible? Okay. All right. Someone says, I've been listening to you guys for 3 hours. Conservative L.
All right. That's it. So that's it. So I'm going to end this video right here. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm going to see if there's any questions here in the comments here, and then I got to actually do some work. So I've been doing this literally all day, all weekend. So I got to do regular content on this channel. We're not really a political channel. We do deal with politics and culture because there is downstream from each other, as Andrew Breitbart said, the late, great Andrew Breitbart. Thank you for that so much. I'll leave that up there on the screen. Right winger, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So let me see. Clean sweep. Yeah, that's very well possible. Definitely in the House, and we definitely expecting the Senate to come as well. It's better to be in our corner than to be in Democrats' corner right now. What happened in Pennsylvania, that is still, in my opinion, still not over. But right now it looks bad because of Southeast Pennsylvania coming in the way it did, and probably for the reasons that Jack Percebiak said. Let me see here. I'm sorry, but that's probably because the echo was because I had the thing going on my laptop as well. I didn't mute that. Sorry, guys. Pennsylvania. We knew Pennsylvania was going to take forever, and what happened there is just absolutely, we expected that, unfortunately. But anyway, so. Good morning, Kyle. I appreciate the hard work that you put into covering the midterm election results. My pleasure. Well, I guess we're going to be doing it again with a runoff in December with Herschel Walker. I guess I have to be giving money to his campaign. Can't believe Chuck Schumer. Yeah, these guys, man. And I don't want to get negative on this particular video. I'll do that in another video because I'm going to keep. If you want negative, go to my Rumble stream. check out the last 10 minutes of that one of last night. And I go into a bunch of stuff, some tinfoil hat stuff, which is actually real life hat stuff. So check that out. But that's before I knew anything about this. But we expect Kari Lake to come back and win, and she will. But the problem with that is Katie Hobbs is the actual overseeing of the election. So it's going to trickle out slowly, and they're going to have to work this out for the next 2 or 3 days until they can finally show, oh yeah, well, she did win by X number of votes. There's no way they can hide it. Make a Kelly. Yeah. So you haven't slept either, have you, MG Kelly? Yeah, it would definitely salvage the election. Absolutely. Fetterman, we're talking about Pennsylvania. Ethan is out in Pennsylvania. Sorry, I am tripping. Ethan is out in the UK. So right now he's 6 hours ahead of us. So Ethan Fetterman right now is in the lead. He's already pretty much declared victory himself, but there's a lot of Trump counties still out there to be counted. But Pennsylvania is a special anomaly because the way they do elections in Pennsylvania is absolutely insane. They actually, in 2020, ignored an opinion by Justice Alito saying you can't do certain things to the ballots. You can't take ballots after a certain point in time. They ignored that, still did it, counted ballots after the deadline, and then counted them towards the certification of the vote. So they don't care in Pennsylvania. So that's what Mastriano is so important, because he was one of the people who's going up against that so much. So I'm gonna keep this video short. I answer all the questions. Right Winger, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. It really makes me feel special to know that people care enough to spend their hard-earned money for someone like me, who's just trying to make people a little bit more calm, especially in a time like this. Because if I'm upbeat, then everybody else should be, because I'm typically the most doom and gloom person there is. Let's see. Let's go with this comment here. Pedro Garcia. He said, "This election is gluing me to the screen. I want to read the Bible, but I'm a political addict and watching these numbers right now." Yes. My wife is actually on here. She's actually got the comment. I'm gonna put it on the screen in a second. I have a problem. Oh, okay. He says he has a problem. No, it's very fascinating. And Pedro, since you brought it up, this election, and I don't want to get into a long discussion here on this because it could go on, but this is a weird election because it's spotty. Okay, let's look what happened. We got rid of two people who are they are the golden children for liberalism and just craziness. Your boy out in Texas, Beto O'Rourke, and you have your girl out in Georgia, Miss Voter non-integrity person, Stacey Abrams. Both of them were kicked to the curb by outstanding margins. And so there's that. And then it also shows us what happens when you have a governor of a state like Georgia who can say, you know what, I'm not playing this. No, not in my state. I'm going to reject DOJ people coming in to oversee my elections. I'm going to actually enforce the election laws. And then we're going to have same day election. We're going to count all the ballots and have it out there in 3 hours like it used to be. And so that's what happens. You see people winning elections, and that's what's going to happen in Arizona. That's what's going to happen in Nevada, and the West is going to take this country back because they're seeing the impact of illegal immigration. They're seeing it more than anything else. We drove, my wife and I, which I'm about to put her on the screen right now. I'll put her on the screen right now. She says here, I'm in mourning. She says, if you're a praying person, get on your knees. We must grovel back to God, repent, and ask Him to save us, as that is all we have left. I think that's a little bit more gloomy than I would like to say, but she's absolutely right in terms of the fact that, yes, we must go back to God. And this is something that that is in His hands because of the nature of the political spectrum, which leads me back to what Pedro was saying. What Pedro was saying was that this is a phenomenal. Well, I'm referring Pedro. Sorry if I'm speaking over you. But this is a interesting electorate because it's so different. It's spotty here and there. And what I was saying last night in the live stream was that we're fighting amongst ourselves. You have the establishment fighting against MAGA. You have the cultural issues going on between left and right and socialism and Marxism and freedom and this. And Trump not being on the ballot in some ways hurt us because turnout was not as high as it could have been. And also the GOP leadership is horrible. The chairman of the GOP is absolutely horrible. And she's been horrible for the past 3 years. And Ronna McDaniel, whatever her name is, and the people who are running our party at the Senate level, you have Mitch McConnell raising money in Alaska for McCroskey. Come on, dude. I mean, taking money away because you're mad because someone decide they're not going to vote for you for the majority whip and for the majority for majority, whatever they call it, in the Senate. So that's petty, and that's kind of petty politics that you don't do, and that costs us races here and there. It could have been much bigger, but that's the situation. So that's what we're dealing with. That's why this election is so out of control, crazy. Let me see here. Thank you so much, Ethan, for that. I appreciate that super sticker. We're going to do a live stream, Ethan. In fact, we were supposed to do something a little bit later on this and what's going on in UK. UK's got some serious issues that we need to talk about too as well. My buddy Court here says Trump and abortion hurt the red wave. No, I think actually Trump would have helped the red wave had he been on the ballot around the country. Yeah, I think. Well, I tell you one thing. What Trump does is the people who hate Trump are the people who are typically active in politics, and so they galvanize because of that. And abortion is the same thing. These are trigger issues when they're on the actual ballot and they see that they freak out. But people who love Trump, most people who really love Trump aren't engaged in politics at all. They don't. It's so, honey, we're gonna vote today. Oh yeah, sure. Is voting for Trump? No, that's gonna be 2 more years. I ain't voting then. That's typically what it is, and we saw that in 2016 and a lot in 2020. So he does have a point to that. But again, had we had better leadership, there would have been plenty of room in there to move things around. But again, we won the House, and we're more than likely going to win the Senate, and that's what we wanted all along. And we have Roe v. Wade being struck down. So that's the battle scars you have to have when you have something like that. Let me see. Pedro here says Stacey Abrams will go back to being president of the Earth in Star Trek. Was she on Star Trek? I think she was on Star Trek, wasn't she? Maybe she was. I think I may have remember seeing her that, or maybe she was the newer Star Trek, not the older Star Trek. Okay, glad to be you guys. Yeah, yeah, he's crazy. Okay, Hobbs winning. Okay, so you missed the intro. I'll get with you. She's going to lose, okay? But the thing is, it's going to take time because she's overseeing the election. The votes out there right now are there, and Kerry should win by close to 100,000 votes there in Arizona. Yeah, I agree, 100%. So yes, true. Let me see. Love you guys. Love you too, Pedro. Thank you so much for chatting with us. And GOP refused to fund. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you, 100%. I'm glad you brought Mastriano up. Mastriano was in Pennsylvania. He had no money at all. He was running basically on the fact that he was a champion in 2020 with the election integrity, and they kicked him to the curb. A great candidate, and they just they left him short. And this happened all over the board. My buddy Willie Montague down in Florida in the primary, a black man. He's on Facebook. If you're watching Willie, I interviewed him. I didn't air the interview. I probably will now. But he was upset because a better candidate, was kicked to the curb by the GOP establishment because he was MAGA. And that's why they kicked him to the curb. And I'm not sure who won that seat, Willie, but I'm going to go check it out, that particular seat. It was the Orlando area, going to the east, that district there. And so it happened all over the place. The establishment left us high and dry because of this infighting with the establishment versus the MAGA conservatives. And so, yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's bring this up here. I'll let you guys. Yeah. I mean, that is what it is, guys. Thank you, Robert, for commenting. So that is what I have, everybody. I hope that makes anyone feel a little better, but it's going to be a tough fight going forward to make sure, number one, that the votes that get counted are counted in Arizona. If they are, Kerry Lake wins. Blake Masters wins by about 10 to 11,000 votes, simply because of the math. I'll say it one more time. Right now in Arizona, well, as of the time I did the first video, which was, the last video, she was down 166,000 votes with about 3 hours to where we are now. In those 3 hours, it's tied. So she made up that difference like that. There's about 63% outstanding. 63% out in. So that means there's 37 left. Of the 37, somewhere in there was somewhere between 700,000, 800,000 votes still to be counted that day of election. That meaning, with Kerry Lake, if you scale it out and see what she's doing in the peripheral counties, where she's up 12-1, 8-1, 9-1, 7-1, all around. And same day election where she needs to get somewhere between 2.5 to 1 over Dobbs, she wins by about 100,000 votes. That's just the math. And that's what we're seeing. And with Blake Masters, the reason why he is going to win is because he's running within 3 points of her, which means people vote for them together. They were, okay, I'm voting for her, I'm voting for him. Bam. And that's what we're seeing. And that should diminish once we take those same votes. He'll win by about 10 or 11,000 votes, as you just saw. Now, Herschel Walker, same thing. However, he ran further from Kemp in Georgia. He was like 8 points away. So that means people were voting, they're splitting the ticket. They were saying, okay, we're voting for Kemp and Warlock. Right. And so that's what was happening. They were splitting the ticket there in Georgia, and Herschel wasn't getting that coattail vote. Had he been running closer to Kemp by, let's say, I don't know, 3 points, like Masters is with Kerry Lake, then he would have won by 3 or 4 points, period. That's just how the math works. All right. And what else do we have? Pedro here says the right Shelley Phoenix is almost completely counted, and Kerry Lake has 42% hop. Yep, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. That's she's gonna win, and that's what it is. Okay, so Lake is gonna win for sure. She's getting 30% of the ballots now coming in her favor. This is what happened in the primary. And if we look at the primary, she was down 150,000 votes. 150,000 votes on primary night. If you remember that, I did a live stream for like 3 or 4 hours. You can check it out on our channel, and especially check out the last hour. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty fun. Because we're going crazy, where she's basically coming up slowly because she is just amazing. She won every single county in Arizona. Of course, it's a primary, so it's all Republicans, however. But she's just loved. She's the most dynamic candidate we have, even more so than DeSantis, because she has more charisma than DeSantis. And that means I'd rather have heart and character like Abraham Lincoln than someone with charisma, let's say a John F. Kennedy. But I think she has the whole package. Of course, she hasn't proven yet, but I think she would be that person that will galvanize the West, New Mexico, and hopefully the northern part of that Nevada and the West coming up. That whole Sun Belt region, the whole Goldwater area, the Nixon Sun Belt where Nixon dominated the Sun Belt. That's what's going to save this country, because they're being affected by legal immigration more than anybody else around this country. They're being affected by their way of life more than anybody else in this country because they have it good out there. My wife and I drove from North Carolina all the way to Arizona in 2020 in the midst of all the crap that's going on with the mask and everything, the mandates and George Floyd and all that stuff going on. The whole country down there was red all the way through. Even New Mexico, we were at a gas station in New Mexico in the middle of the desert, and some guy was saying, "Hey man, I like your hat." It was a Native American gentleman. Thanking me, whatever. And so their lifestyle's being interrupted and they don't like it, period. And so the West is a type of bravado that this country was founded on. They're called cowboys, all right? And that's what we need. We need cowboys, so and cowgirls as well to bring this country back. So anyway, I am rambling, guys. 10,000 votes. That's what we're seeing as well. If you put it in a spreadsheet and do the math yourself, that's what you should see as well. But of course, there's some shenanigans. So if you want to check out the last 10 minutes of my other thing going on on Rumble, check it out. But like Charlie was saying, there's going to be a lot of people looking at this, and they can't get away with things like they did before. And they're trying to treat her like Trump back in 2020. Linked by 50K. If that's your prediction, Chris, because that's a conservative. You know what? If that's right, that's probably right, because we were projecting it at, I wasn't projecting it. They were projecting it. I'm just repeating it, that 1 million would put her at 150,000 wins. Then 700,000 would put her right at about, right. That your numbers look good. That looks good. If you're graphing it out, that looks good, Chris. That math works out. And in the runoff, we're going to see, hopefully he won't be there. But the problem is, can we get the same turnout? That's going to be the issue. And I think what Herschel Walker was able to do after the debate was close the deal on Warlock. All that stuff about the infidelity and the abortion stuff. I mean, that probably had an impact there. I can't say it didn't. I thought maybe it wouldn't have an impact, but obviously it had some sort of impact because people were voting for Kemp and Warlock on the same ballot. That's what was happening. So with that out of the way, Herschel Walker being who he is, a fighter, I think he will be able to galvanize the support again to have the runoff. And it'd be very difficult for the Democrats to have the kind of enthusiasm for the runoff as well. We shall see. As a Georgian, I assure you, no one voted for. That's what I'm saying. You know what? You're calling it. You're calling it. You're saying it, and I am 100% agreeing with you. Fulton County, man. You know, water mains bursting. 80 miles away. Oh yeah, we gotta shut everything down. Yeah, whatever. Come on, guys. Imagine if not even breaking 100%. Yeah. Oh, and can we talk about South Florida? Can we talk about can you talk about the utter domination of DeSantis in West Palm Beach County, in Dade County? I mean, that is absolutely that. Florida is no longer a purple state. It's no longer a battleground state. Florida is a red state. The same thing happened with Ohio. Ohio is a red state. Don't anybody tell you differently. Ohio is red. Florida is red. We're seeing a massive realignment in this country. It was the so-called Rust Belt states, but so what happened in Iowa? I mean, Iowa crushing it in Iowa. I mean, that was a state that we dreamed to have 20 years ago. And then, Minnesota will come around maybe in about 10 years, but eventually they're kind of wacky. They're going to have to get to the bottom of the barrel of their policies before they turn around. But Michigan as well, we'll see that, I think, as well. And Pennsylvania should be, but Pennsylvania has other issues internally. But outside of all that, in terms of an alignment, we're seeing that happen in the so-called Rust Belt states and in the Sun Belt coming through Florida all the way down the lower coast, Louisiana, Mississippi, down those areas, all the way out to the west, through Texas, and all the way out to New Mexico's an anomaly. Hopefully we can get that, and then out to Arizona and up to Nevada. All right, so let me see. Anyone notice that the right wing Facebook moms are basically taking over GOP? I'm not sure what that means. Anyone knows that right wing? Oh yes, I have, yes. Probably because of education, right? And let me see. John Sanders might run. Yeah, if he runs, DeSantis runs, he needs to get a solid Trump endorsement, and Trump needs to go on the campaign with him. Maybe not. I don't know. We have to see that. I don't know. But 2024 is a long ways off right now. Who we have on top of the ticket there, it doesn't matter. But Trump is going to announce something on November 15th. So I haven't even thought about that right now. But and what that kind of thing would do to enthusiasm, because right now the Republican Party is sectionalized in three segments, three huge segments. It's the MAGA segment, and it's the establishment segment, and it's the Ted Cruz, DeSantis establishment, but sort of MAGA segment, right? And so they're not really they're MAGA, but they're not Trump. So it's like, you know what I mean? So so those segments, those three areas need to come to coalesce in some way. I think the MAGA and the MAGA non-Trump conservatives need to kick out the establishment and coalesce around each other, and then just coexist in that kind of way. There's a path forward there, but the GOP establishment has got to go. Let me see. Probably it's good concern. Yeah. This again, what I just said about that whole segmentation there. It's concerning how good Warnock is doing despite how far left he is. Because he did the whole pastor thing. He did you got to vote for me because even though I like killing babies, it doesn't matter because that's because I'm brown and you're brown and we're all brown, and the Republicans, they're all dirty. They're dirty. They're horrible people. So you can't vote for them. That's the whole spiel there. Kicking it out to the Sambo, step and fetch it people out there in the Democrat Party who live primarily in the Atlanta area. You know who I'm talking about. If Ohio is red, that means most likely the president election will be red in 2024. The Democrats, man, I agree with you there. It's going to be a fight. Every election is going to be a fight. And I'm going to close this thing out here by saying this. Is that, and like Jack Persebiak said, he said, look, until we get these things fixed with where we don't tolerate week-long, month-long, year-long voting, until we have a clear message on abortion, like Reagan had. He basically went over to there and went pro-life after being convinced by the woman in the movie Roe v. Wade convinced Reagan to become pro-life, and that the person who was actually involved in the case of Roe v. Wade, that lead attorney, black woman, she convinced Reagan to turn to pro-life, and from that point on, the Republican Party has been a pro-life party because of Reagan's leadership. We need to get back to that and have a sound policy on abortion, and then we need to have we need to go one of two ways. One, go in the direction of we're going to stick with voter integrity, and we're going to stick to same-day voting as a clear path to go forward. Or if we can't agree on that, then fine. We need to go straight Democrat. We need to do ballot harvesting. We need to go get into TikTok and be in social media and bribe people into voting, and it'll just be a drop down, drag out fight. And then we have a true democracy, and we've lost everything because we're not a democracy. Don't let Democrats tell you we are a democracy. We're not a democracy. So with that, and on that note, I'm gonna give one quick plug with my with our channel here. What we have set up, if you join the Conservative Take, we have a series that we're doing. It's called Biblical Citizenship in Modern America. And I'm gonna show you a quick slide of what we have in terms of what we're going through. And this is the Forefathers Monument Guidebook. We're going through this, and we're going through the materials set out by the Patriot Academy, Jeff Green, and Wall Builders, David Barton, about what this country is about, why it was founded, why the judicial branch is the weakest of all the branches, why the legislative branch is the most powerful because it's most closest to the people, and why that is lost, and why our laws are the way they are, why the Constitution is the way it is, and what the founders actually intended. Hamilton versus Jay versus Adams versus Madison. There were different thoughts there. There were arguments today, but the clear objective was established in the Federalist Papers and in the notes from the Constitutional Convention. They tell you what we meant. But you know what? We don't do that because we don't know. So this class is going around the country. It's free to take, but I'm giving a commentary on it for people who are members of this channel at $1 up to $10 a month. And if you're on locals for $2 a month, you get it there as well. Only because I'm commenting on it. And I want to give value to the people who want to come on and support us. So that's what we're doing there. If you join, hit the join button on YouTube or hit the join button on Rumble, and you'll see that there as well. So let me go through this real quickly here and end this. Any other talking points here? Let me just first thank Ethan for the 2 pounds. I said $2 almost. For the 2 pounds, that's probably $3. Thank you. And for the right winger for giving us the $5 there as well. So appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. And let me go through this real quickly. That's one more comment, and then okay. Conservative Take Democrats for life have been picking up steam. I hope they take over the party. Okay. I'm not sure. I got to look at those guys. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with those people, but thank you for letting me know that. And so with that, it's 8:13 in the morning. I need to be somewhere else at this point. Got to pay some bills. And so let me go over comment here, Pedro. On foreign policy, see, he says, that is a policy that I'm not aware of. I need to look that up as well. So thank you for letting me know. I will follow up on that. I have no idea what that means. I have zero idea what that means. Zero idea what that means. But thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, okay. Bam. Perfect. Nice. Okay. Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. My name is Kyle Suggs. This is the Conservative Take, and this live stream. Hope people feel a little better. Could have been better. Could have been much better. But I'll take what we have if things stand the way we stand now. That means minus no shenanigans. So basically, no shenanigans. We win the House, we already have, and the Senate, and that's a wrap. And we can go from there and go into 2024 and pick up more seats there as well. But here's one more thing I'm going to say. Last thing I'm going to say is we have solidly good candidates. I cannot stress this enough. We have solidly good candidates. Would you rather have a slim majority in the Senate, maybe 51, 52, or would you want 60 or even 70 in the Senate and they're all rhinos? No, I don't want that. We've had that before. We've had a big wave, all R's, and they're all complacent. They get in there, they get into the office, they get their little parking badge, they get their little shiny little congressional badge that they wear, the pin, and then they don't do anything. They campaign at all in the long session. In the short session, they do nothing. And so that's what I don't want that. So we have a solid we have solid candidates in place that are going to do tremendous good on the Senate floor and in the House. So, and these governors, because we know how important governors are when you're locked down in your basement because you can't go to the second floor because Uncle Sam tells you can't go to the second floor because we told you so. Stay in your basement and suck it up until we tell you otherwise. Of course, the people who have basements like LeBron James, who happen to be a quarter of an acre, they can stay in their basements as long as they want because they have bigger basements. Because the elitists don't care about us, period. And that's what people understand. They buy into the narrative, and I'm going on and on and on. So let me flip these comments real quickly. If you're watching this real time, I'm going to just go through them quickly, pause the screen, and then I'm going to end the stream. All right, so here we have this guy here. Yeah, exactly right. 100%. Because we were defending more this time around. And you have, the cycle has 5. Exactly right. Great point there. Great point, Pedro. We just want to make sure we have healthy Supreme Court justices that they can live a nice long life so we can make it that far because, okay. I'm going to stop the feed right here, everybody. Again, thank you so much for everything you guys do. Be strong, be diligent. Don't let the narrative get out there that we lost this thing, that there was a blue wave. There was not a blue wave. It was a red trickle, but it was an effective trickle and the heels of saving babies. If that's the price I got to pay to save babies, that's it. I will die on that hill all day long. God bless everybody. I'll see you guys in a later video later on today. Something unpolitical related, probably something about Black people and conservatism or something about that. So we'll see. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.